All right, everybody. Welcome to week two. And this week, we are going to dive into what is called a SWOT analysis. So, a SWOT analysis is used by organizations that are trying to plan for the future, figure out where their strengths are, and then also where their opportunities are to get better, maybe some threats in the marketplace, and also, obviously, those weaknesses. So, strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats. And it's an area that I have quite a bit of expertise in, and I'm pretty excited to bring that to you here at Western. So, if we're going to dive right into it, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to watch a video about a SWOT analysis. So, just click on that and go ahead and get started and watch that. It'll kind of run you through, it's a short video, it'll run you through the basics of what a SWOT analysis is. Okay. That's a good way to get started with the class or get started with this concept. Okay, next we're going to move into the actual reading module. And so the reading module, there's several sections in here that's linked directly. It gets into what SWOT analysis are in a deeper look than just the video did. So go ahead and run through all of these. There's several of them, and you get down towards the bottom, make sure you hit the next button until you can't go any further, and that'll take you through the entire content for this week as far as reading goes. Okay, there we go. A young Bryce Harper right there. So, anyways, moving on. After we get done with the reading, you're also going to just read another brief article on the importance of the SWOT analysis. And again, just some more content to support initially what you're going to be doing as an assignment. So I guess the big question a lot of students will ask is like, how does this apply to me when I get in the workplace? Do organizations actually do these sort of things? And the short answer is yes. Uh, Organizations do this all over the globe. And Western goes through, annual analysis of their business plan and what's working, what isn't. And I've had actually an opportunity to do this a couple times. So I'm going to share that experience with you right now. So I was the marketing director for a company called Wisconsin Sports Services. And I took the approach with this brand new company. It was a startup. Is how are we going to figure out what to do? Like, where are we going to fit at in this marketplace? So we were an event management company, and our target market was baseball, basketball, and wrestling events in the state of Wisconsin. And so we used a SWOT analysis to get started. We were looking to create a comprehensive business plan to guide our future growth. We knew we were operating a very competitive market and we needed to understand our position clearly. We did turn to a SWOT analysis to do this. After we did this, we kind of figured out what the best way to move forward was. So with our strengths, I'll just give you some examples. Our strengths were strong community relationships and a reputation for hosting well-organized sporting events. So this wasn't volunteer run or events, this was professional run events. So that was a great strength for us. A weakness for us we identified right away was we had limited brand recognition outside of our core region. And so most of our reputation had come from Minnesota. Our parent company was called Minnesota Youth Athletic Services. And in Minnesota, we were killing it. We were running 300 and some events a year and doing great, but we needed to find a way to expand into Wisconsin. So, some of our opportunities was we had to figure out who to partner with, right? There was quite a few people that were willing to do it. We had a good business plan where they would make some good money by partnering with us and hosting our events. And it just took a long time to find out who those people were. So we had to canvass the state and do a lot of recruiting in order to find who those organizations or schools were. The threats were there was larger, more well-established sports events companies and groups out there that were already doing it. So we had to figure out, oh gosh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to like not repeat what they're doing? How are we going to stand out in the marketplace? And oftentimes they would put up roadblocks for us to actually host events. So we knew that was a major threat, but we figured the best thing for us to do is really partner with these organizations that really wanted it. I'm happy to say that, we started that in 2013 and it's still going on today. I think the boys and girls basketball tournaments are up over 200 teams participating in that. And one of the events that I personally created was the Badgerland Nationals Wrestling Tournament, which is still hosted right here in La Crosse each year. And that's been going on since 2013. So, but we had good partners, and that was the reason why those events grew. So that is just a brief explanation of how I did it at Wisconsin Sports Services. I also had an opportunity to create SWOT analysis through my most recent job, which was at the Crescent Area Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. So this was a board activity that we would do annually, and I would have to run it. And really, where we got into the weeds of everything is we really dove into the opportunities, like how can we grow? And then we had to realize, post it on a big post-it paper, or we had post-it notes. We put it on a big poster paper of like, okay, this is really awesome. We'd really like to do it, but it's really not feasible. So those we would toss out, but they were fun ideas. The ones that were had a high impact and the ones that were very feasible are the ones that we went after. So we added some different events to our uh, to our programming in order to grow our organization. One of those, for example, was partnering with Apple Fest to run apple orchard tours. Something very simple, but something that did attract tours into our area. So, we went through a complete SWOT analysis with that organization, and it helped to move us forward, especially to build a strong financial plan that was a little bit ambitious, but actually very realistic. Like we could do it and we could have sustainability. So in both of those roles, the SWOT analysis proved to be more than just planning to it. It was a catalyst really for collaboration. It gave us quite a bit of clarity, and it was a way to create action within the organization. It helped us also align our goals with our capabilities and then navigate some of these challenges with a lot of confidence. So you'll ask like, hey, how does this apply to me in the future? So it could apply for any size business to create a strong SWOT analysis. It's a basic tool to move forward in an organization. Okay, so anyways, that's my little two bits about SWOT analysis and how they can help out you and what you should learn from those. So after you go through all of these different items here, 2.1 through 2.3, you're going to take a short assessment. And this is just a way to kind of do a SWOT analysis on an organization that you are familiar with. Okay. I'm going to go back up here. This is the rubric. Read through this piece of it first. Okay, before you go ahead and submit the assignment, right? You can kind of ignore the part where it says 1 to 2 pages on the following, okay, because I spelled that out further in the actual assignment. Okay, and this is what you're going to be graded upon, right? Okay. Close that up. And like the first question, identify which business you are analyzing. Provide a link to the business website along with a brief description of what the business does. So this can be a challenge for some if you're not very familiar with some businesses, but everybody has some exposure to businesses. Maybe you own your own business, or maybe you worked for your parents who owned a business. Maybe as a kid when you were 15, 16 years old, you started working for a doggy daycare business of some sort. You should have a pretty good understanding of what that business is like. Okay, so you're going to provide a link to that business website and give me a description of what that business does. Okay, moving on down. Explain to us how familiar you are with that business. Go into detail about your history with the business, both past and present. Okay, next one, list a minimum of 2 strengths of this business and explain why they are strengths. So if their strengths are they have great return customers, okay, explain why that is a strength. How do they get to that? Okay, we're going to go through all of those things. So we're going down, list a minimum of 2 weaknesses of the business and why they are weaknesses. List a minimum two opportunities of the businesses and why they're opportunities, two threats, and then why they are threats. So this assignment is an important first assignment for you in this chapter, or assignment for you in this chapter. It's worth a total of 50 points. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me. I'm here to help. And I really love SWOT analysis. So you get stuck on something, don't be afraid to reach out to me. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you on this section of the course.